Thanks, Piyush, for introducing us. Uh, since we already been introduced, I won't go, bother to introduce ourselves. So what we'll do is I'll make a presentation of the project, and then I'll ask Kaustubh to come and add any points which he wants to and which perhaps I might have missed out. Since we don't have much time, I might have to rush through some of the slides a bit. So please excuse me. Right. So this is about the bauxite mines of Hindalco. Bauxite is, as you all know, is the principal mineral ore for aluminum production, and it's found on the high altitude lateritic plateaus in Western Ghats, which are also known for the biodiversity. And Hindalco has two bauxite mines in Kolhapur district at Durgmanwad and Kasasara. So unfortunately, the bauxite mining, it clashes with the issue of biodiversity conservation, right? So, yeah. So this is a location of the mines here there in Kolhapur district. One is in near Radhanagri, and the other is further south near Changad, Kasasara. A brief background: we had actually Envirosearch, that is our firm. We had prepared a wildlife conservation plan for Hindalco company, which was mandated by the Ministry of Environment and Forests. And in that, the reason was that it was in a biologically sensitive area, and they felt that biodiversity and wildlife conservation issues need to be taken into consideration. So that was the basic logic for this. And we felt while making the plan that the habitat restoration should form a strong component of the the wildlife management or the environmental management which has to be done post mining. And after seeing the plan and what our recommendations, so Hindalco decided to commission us for carrying out restoration of the Kasasara and Durgmanwad mines, and that's how our project started in 2007. So while implementing the project, we obviously we kept the rich biodiversity of the Western Ghats. We took that into consideration, and our project we carried out the project for a period of 7 years till 2014. Main objectives of the project were restoration of the vegetative cover. Because why I'm saying this is because when we are doing restoration, it's a good idea to be clear about what our objective should be. Like different kind of restorations can have different objectives, so it's not one kind of objective which has to be kept. So we decided to keep the biodiversity objective as one of the main focus of our restoration effort. So restoring the vegetative cover, restoring the native floral biodiversity, rehabilitation of the faunal biodiversity as well. Though we did not make any specific effort, but by restoring the habitat and the ecosystem there, we expect that the fauna will be restored there, and try to return the land to a productive state, because after post mining the land is left in a highly unproductive kind of state. And choice of the restoration model, like I said, there many models are possible. You can have an agriculture kind of model. There are restorations done that way, horticulture maybe, or some garden. The various kinds of models are possible. So keeping in mind again the location of the mines, we kept the forest ecosystem. There are two possibilities if we want to do a natural restoration, which I'll show in the next slide. And after doing this, we also try to do a restoration of the lateritic meadow ecosystem, which is found in the high altitude plateaus of Western Ghats. So these are view of typical lateritic plateaus in the Western Ghats. They are generally an interspersion of open meadows which are on a sheet of lateritic rock, and interspersed with places which have got more soil depth where you can have some forest. And the company and they have to give, when they do restoration, they have to sort of justify it to the mining officials and the forest officers who visit there, and they are generally the picture what they have, mental picture of restoration is it has to be a forest, So the company wanted that it should be restored as a forest, so which is what we accepted their request, and we carried out a forest kind of model of restoration. But later on, after a few years of restoration, we also tried to convince the company we should also do a meadow restoration. So we started in that direction towards the end of this project. Now, what are the challenges there? These are typical kind of picture that we have after mining, we are left with kind of clay kind of substrate, which is very poor in biodiversity. There is hardly any soil cover because lateritic plateaus often they don't have much soil cover to begin with. Though some of them do, but in this our case, there was not much soil remaining. Though the company tried to save whatever topsoil was there, but there was not much of it. And the clay substrate which remains behind is highly infertile, and it is very kind of impervious kind of material with very poor permeability. There is very high rainfall, which again it creates limitations and restrictions on what we do over there, and extremely strong wind. So these are some of the factors which we had to keep in mind when carrying out the restoration there. And we try to adopt a total restoration principle, because what the mining companies often do is they make pits and plant seedlings there, and that doesn't work, because then whatever happens, it just remains limited to that pit, and with like the in-between substance doesn't get the entire habitat or the ecosystem doesn't get restored. So we convince the company that we have to restore the ecosystem. You cannot just make a pit there and put fertilizer and manure and all that. We have to restore the entire surface, starting with the soil, because the soil is the main substrate on which the restoration is to be carried out, and it should go beyond tree plantation, because that normally when doing restoration, companies start with the tree plantation kind of sort of concept. And we also we did not use any pesticide and chemical fertilizer, so we did try to do a completely natural restoration there. So what we did was we realized that considering the nature of the surface which is remaining behind, the most important thing was to restore the the fertility of the area. So firstly, we did this thing, we backfilling, made a level surface, because for restoration generally we can't, difficult to do it on a kind of sloping surface, so we try to do on level surfaces mainly, and we try to restore permeability by trying to backfill with a rocky kind of substrate, because the clay substrate which remains behind hardly has any permeability. And for improving the fertility, we added amenders such as press mud from the sugarcane industry, and also press mud and bagasse, and we also used cow dung manure, farmyard manure, and because of the low soil availability, we also had to actually import soil and spread soil over there. So this is the company to reduce the ecological footprint kind of. We tried to obtain the soil mainly from tank silt, which was available in the locality. So right, and this is and these they have to be mixed when we put the amenders. We have to rip the surface and make sure that it is properly churned up and mixed thoroughly with the substrate. So we get a a substrate which is at least 1 to 2 feet deep, where the roots of the plants can spread there. And after that, after preparing the surface, then we did the pit digging and tree planting activity. And for selection of plant species, we carried out a biodiversity assessment of the mine and surrounding, and it was helpful in setting the objectives of our restoration. And also it provided us a good comparison or a reference model kind of ecosystem for carrying the restoration. So these are some of the criteria that we use for selection of species. And all the species there are which were found in the surrounding area, or they are all native species. I'll skip through this because we don't have much time. Right, and this is the nursery that we prepared, because we tried to first obtain the plants from the surrounding areas, but we could not find plants there. So we actually at this site in Chandigarh, the company actually we set up a nursery, and we provided them the guidance to create the nursery, and Vivek's knowledge of nurseries techniques helped us a lot in preparing the nursery. And we of course use lots of innovative techniques for restoring the preparing seedlings of the native plant species there. We also did very careful monitoring of the restoration process, and especially photographic record. We kept a photographic record of the rehabilitation. Some of the photographs, especially the before and after photographs in this presentation, are by Kaustubh. Right. So now I'll give you some before and after shots of this thing, taken from the same site. So this was the ready plot, which is one. I'll be showing separate different plots of the this thing restoration. So this was before carrying out the restoration, actually how the plot looked in 2007 when we first started, and this was the same plot after restoration in 2012. The plot at the back, the one in the front has been planted later. That was planted in 2009. Then again, this is a area which was rehabilitated in 2008, photographed in 2009, and again photographed in 2012. So these are the kind of results that we see over there, and we were very satisfied, because considering that there was no fertility in the area before we started, the results that we got were very good, and the company was very satisfied with the result that we got, and even the restoration effort was praised quite a lot by many visiting forest officers who came to the area, and even mining officers who visited the site. Again, one shot which was of a photograph of an area which was planted in 2008. The photograph was taken in 2009 after 1 year, and then again in 2012 after 4 years from the date of planting. Right. Then again, this is one area you can see the tower in the background. It was planted in 2007. This first planted after photographed 1 year in 2008, and again the photograph of the same place in 2009. You can see the progressive improvement, and the same plot in 2012. So you can see the kind of progress which has taken place and the restoration which is carried out. Right, so these are some, I'll just quickly show some photographs of some good spots, good restoration results that we got. So we saw a kind of forest kind of ecosystem or developing over there. This is, and you can see in between the plants, grass is growing over there. Earlier, when the company was doing it before we started, you'd just see the trees growing over there, but there were hardly any grass or herbaceous flora coming up between the plants. Again, some of the this is about 2 and 3 years of after planting, and the last plot over there is about 4 years after planting. This is, you can see the height of some of the trees which have grown over there after about 4 years of restoration. This is again the tall trees you can see after about 4 years of restoration. And we also saw, because we have restored the kind of soil fertility, we saw natural colonization occurring in the area. These are some of the native plant species over there. I won't go into the names. We try to restore Karvi. The left uppermost, Karvi is one of the natural colonizers in the area. So we try to take advantage of flowering of Karvi, which occurs once in 7 years. And then later on, after the flowering took place in subsequent years, we transplanted seedlings to restore the Karvi over there. Again, some examples of natural colonization which took place over there. You can see good grass production in the plantations. And so it could be a fire hazard, so we sort of cut the grass and collected it, and then it was taken away by the local people for the personal use. And in some of the areas, the natural plateau flora of the area also came. This is Utricularia species occurring. There is Mordania, Ramphicarpa. There is Drosera, which is as you all know, it's an insectivore found in the Western Ghats, and Hexacum. Habenaria and Peristylus, these are ground orchids which sort of came up by themselves in the restored area. There is Pectalis, another ground orchid. Again, some rare species over there, Karvi at the right hand side, and this is Smithia, which came up in one of the plantations. And in Kasasada site, this photograph is not of Kasasada, but this is a different location. But Gaur used to come on the restored mine site. Also, lots of good presence of amphibians over there. Many frog species were found over there. And Kaustuba and Vivek especially carried out documentation of the frogs and amphibians which occurred in the area. And we carried out some preliminary trials of restoration of the meadow ecosystem there. These are some of the shots that we saw. This is just after 1 year, and in subsequent years, it's progress beyond this. So this is the Eriocolon which is coming up, and this is one impatiens species, which we have still not actually been able to identify. Yeah, some of the lessons that we learned from this mine restoration effort. Firstly, it's possible to do good quality restoration and restore the natural vegetation on mines, which often the people say, okay, it cannot be done. But you need to take a lot of effort on this. You should have a clear vision of the objectives and what the target we are going to have finally. And the company needs to be supportive. They should be in tune with you about the vision, your restoration vision, and they should be supportive and allocate sufficient funds and machinery also, because machinery is it was a short supply often, so they need to allocate machinery. So that is very essential to carry out the soil mixing and backfilling, etc. It will very helpful if you have a good understanding of ecology of the area, and you need to have a continuous hands-on kind of follow-up of the. We made monthly visits there to make sure that things were going the way, and we did a lot of mid-course corrections. Some of our experiments failed, so we had to make corrections over there. So these are some of the things, the important things that we need to carry out good quality restoration. Yes. So yeah, thank you. I'd like to thank the organizers for giving us this opportunity, and especially I want to thank Hindalco for giving us the opportunity of carrying out this restoration project. I'll ask now Kaustubh if he wants to come and add something.
Difficult to convince company to go in for meadow restoration, and basically they were of the attitude that okay, meadow will be there for 4 months of the year, but what after that, because it's going to get completely dried up by December, January it will dried up. So what do we show to people then? And that was a major tussle, and it took at least 4-5 years to overcome that. And then by end of 2013 we actually started with meadow work, and we completed about 2-hectare plots in Durgamanwadi plateau. And in Kasarsada our observation was we didn't do anything, and the nature took its own course and the meadow plant started coming upon its own. So yeah, that is something what I wanted to add. Although unfortunately I don't have recent photographs of what we have restored in 2014. Thanks.
There are 2-3 things. One is the growth of the plants. We found out the growth after restoration using our technology. The growth of the plants was much superior to the restoration work which was done earlier by the company. So there we found great amount of success. And the restoration of the overall ecosystem rather than just tree growth. So we find lots of other species, far more biodiversity in the area. So I think briefly these are the 2 measures of the success of the model. Kaustubh, you want to add?
Yes, Jayant emphasized on growth and measurements. He used to do it very meticulously, I must say. And Vivek and me, whenever we used to go for monthly monitoring, we used to carry out periodical checks of the rehabilitated areas, and we used to document biodiversity. So all the photographs that you saw today in this presentation are from our restored areas. The frogs, except gores and whatnot, but the frogs and various tiny stuff, herbs, they are from the restored areas. I mean, biodiversity was also major part of the what matrix of success or whatever you referred to as.
And we were successful in restoring about the local native tree species. About I think 30 to 40 tree species we were successful in growing on the site. So I think that was a fairly good achievement.